Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. British video game nerd back online. Now it's been a while, I know, but there's good reasons for that. I'll explain later on during this with this audio recording. Now, for the past time on my Twitter and my Instagram account, if you actually follow both of these accounts, you would know how many times I've been asking this particular question: where's the best place or the best place to get deals for your retro games and game consoles and all that? Where's the best deals and to avoid, the eBay issues and all that. Now, for this audio recording, I'm going to give you exactly what my experience for buying my retro games and put my game collection put together. Where's the most likely places I've been to gather them. Alright, now first off, the first place I did go to was eBay, because at the time I didn't have any places at all that sells retro consoles, well, as far as I knew of. Now I can tell you right now, eBay is a very last resort. Very last resort. Now eBay does have a huge variety a variety of consoles, games, peripherals, controllers, the lot. I mean, you can find everything in there. But there is a big but. Now let's talk into separate categories. One is the cost. Now, some of the games out there you may know of can be very, very expensive, mainly due to popularity, rare, or is it the game's rare, or is it very popular, or it could be a bit of both. And as a result, people look at other people's profiles, and if they got that game and they see it as that price, then they will copy that and so forth. There's some sort of basic guide that's showing how much the game's actually worth in today's value on basically basis of the internet, and how many people want to buy it and so forth, and how crazy it can be to actually splash a cash right in front of them and say, "Shut up and take that money." It's that kind of ordeal, and it bothers a lot of people, especially ones who want to get the games on the best deal they could possibly get. Obviously, because let's face it, not all of us are bloody rich. So, to base it down, there's some games that I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Why is it that expensive? Why does it have to be that much? Can you at least drop it down just a little bit to be more, sort of reachable for people in certain classes? I don't know, but I think it's just some of the people just really want the cash so badly. And that brings into point 2, which is that people can tend to be a bit dicky. Well, I'm going to say dicky, because what they can do... I mean, to be fair, I have dealt with people on the internet who are genuine people who just want to sell it in a small amount of price, and basically no strings attached. They're honest, and they just sell the stuff from the price they wanted, and that's fair. That's 100% fair. However, there are some people out there who just I think it's mostly resellers, which is a bit difficult to deal with. Either they ask for too much money, they charge you the postal packaging up the arse, and basically there could be a bunch of liars or scam artists. Basically, they say the game's working. A game or console that is actually working, they claim, you buy it, and then find out it doesn't work, and then you have to go this process of calling scam artists and say, I'm gonna take you down, and all that. And believe me, I've been there before. It's a pain in the ass. And that's one of the reasons that makes eBay buyers or sellers, and that way more difficult to handle. Let's say people in the streets or in public, in actual fact. Now, the third thing that really annoys me about eBay is not the thing, but one of the most other things is the wait. It's not like you go into the shop and you can buy the game and then you just take it home with you and you can play it. as a wait list. It could either be about a day or two. I don't mind that. It could be a week, depending on where it's come from. Okay, that's fine. But it's just the fact that you have to wait to get the stuff, and that can be quite annoying. It's not a bad thing because obviously he's from there, you're from here. Wait, what can you do? What can you do? So that's the thing about eBay is the three main things about eBay is the fact that prices can be unfair, the sellers could be a bit of a nightmare, and the fact that you don't actually once you buy it, you haven't got it in your hands immediately. It doesn't happen like that. You have to wait in certain time. Like I said, depending on where you are. If you bought from another country, for example, it may take a bit longer, and that does. Well, it does annoy you a little bit, but it's annoying enough to understand that it doesn't come to your door just like that. It takes time, and depends on what courier or delivery service they use and so forth. It's all typical, really. Now, the same goes with Amazon. It's the same sort of problems: price, seller, and delivery costs. If they ask you to pay for delivery yourself, and basically, and the services and all that. Now, Gumtree, I have never done Gumtree before, I have to be honest with you, but I have known people done that, and it's sort of similar problems. But one thing about Gumtree, it's like in the past, where you have those posters in the window that you post it, advertise and say, I'm going to sell this, let's say, a Sega Mega Drive for this amount. Either you want to pick it up where you are, or you want to deliver to you, but you have to pay delivery costs, blah blah blah, and then you can have it. So it's kind of like that, but instead of the traditional way, just look at the window, it's actually online, which is the only difference really. Apart from that, it's the same sort of process. Right, now, so if you don't want to go through all that, or you don't have enough money to pay that certain amount for a game or a game console or whatever, and you want to make a cheaper deal, or basically you just want to avoid doing that sort of thing altogether, that's perfectly fine. A lot of people do that, including me, which is why I'll go into the high streets and find places that do sell retro games on a certain deal, which I tend to find it more adventurous, because obviously you basically you go outside in the sun or daylight. That's the one thing. 2, you meet certain people, which could be a benefit for your social skills and your friendship skills. And C, you never know. You could be full of surprises. You'd be surprised how well they can actually give you a deal. That's why I use that facility that much. Just go outside, have a walk around. If you find a shop that sells retro games and a certain deal, and if you find something you want is in there, and slightly cheaper deal than eBay, go for it. That's what I'm saying. But where? That's the only thing. That's the one thing that always puts into separate categories again. But there's 1-2 places I know of that has a solid deal, but there's other ones I bet 50-50. That's my problem. My personal problem. But tell you what, I'll tell you the 2 places that guarantees a good deal. Mostly, one is charity shops. I cannot recommend enough to go to charity shops. I mean, you'll be surprised how many times they sell certain amount of stuff in cheap. Obviously, because it's a charity shop. Because they don't usually go overprice everything. They're just thinking, okay, how much for this thingy? £1, £2, $3.99, maybe a £5. Who knows? And they just don't, they just don't exaggerate the price. They never do that. And that's a guarantee. But there's a very rare chance that there may be something really good, retro-wise, that you find at the charity shops. Mostly you're going to find is sports games, regular titles, crappy ones, basically children's games that you just don't give a crap about. That kind of thing. It really sort of bothers me a lot that there's not much out there. But, and this is a big but, at rare occasions, people do hand in, for free, certain games that are worth quite a bit on eBay. And that is where the big sell goes. Take my case, for example. One time I actually went to a charity shop in a town called Worcester, which I work as well, surprisingly enough. And there was a charity shop nearby where I work, and one day I popped in there thinking, okay, let's see what stuff they got for us this time, because I've been there multiple times to see if they, sell some good games, which they do quite a lot. And there's a couple occasions, but there's a couple of games in there that caught me in the eye straight away and immediately bought it. One of which, and this is no joke, is a full box, complete Super Mario 64. I am not joking. It was complete in box. I checked. The game looks near mint condition. The box, a little dent in the corners, but apart from that, it looks, let's say 95% sort of near accurate. Very near accurate. And the manual's in there, and the paperwork's in there. All of it was in there, and we're asking for $3.99. That's it. $3.99, no strings attached. You can have it for that price. That was a big yes, at a big sold right there, right in front of there. But then, look further down the shelves. There was a copy of Pokemon Blue, just a cartridge on its own, and I already got a couple of Pokemon games, but then Pokemon Blue, I have never had that. I'm so keen to get one of those. It was only for $1.99, just for the cartridge itself. Again, sold. I just bought it, took it to the cashier, and the guy who actually saw me buying the Super Mario 64 box, he knew I had a best deal, a proper bargain, and he gave me the thumbs up for this. And that is the biggest surprise of all. That's why I like to go to charity shops, because things like do tend to happen, and that is a great feeling right there. That's a great deal. You can never ever beat that. Well, unless you can find something even better that is a better value than what I got in past time. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, in the comments below, tell me if you went to, let's say, the charity shop or anything similar that you bought that was like about a couple of quid or whatever, and then find out later it was like, well, let's say 10 times better value than that. Tell me what game you bought, how much you bought, and how much is it worth at the time. Please tell me in the comments down below, and see who can, surprise me with their stories. Now, another place I go to now and again is in the mostly okay category, but it's also sometimes a bit of a risky category, is pawn shops. Like, for example, in this country, cash converters and cash generators. Both of them have no problems at all. I mean, they both had some good stuff. They got like a couple of games in there that I bought. Retro-wise are from Super Nintendo, Game Boy, GameCube, Mega Drive, various other systems, and also PS2s, Xboxes. The same goes with both of them. The only thing I have issue with is the consoles. Not all the time, but a couple of times I had consoles that have overpriced a little bit, because I think they did go to eBay, and that is what happens. If you go on eBay, you copy that whatever they want on eBay on this console, no matter what condition it is, if it's either yellowed or has chips in it, or it's broken, or basically just looks a bit tatty, they'll do the same price. And that is a real kick in the arse, I'll tell you what. However, but due time, they do lower the price. On some occasions, they do Not all the time, but they do lower the price a little bit depending on how long it's been in there. That's my guess, but that's what I've seen for the past time. Now, the one case I've I say this in this another story I can tell you of the Sega Saturn, which I've got right now. I'm looking at it right now, and it's big black box and it's memory card on the top, but that's a separate story. But either way, I bought the first Sega Saturn I bought was near to where I live, in the same town I'm living right now, and it was a bundle with some games in it for about 40 quid. Not a bad deal, had some money. He's got some games in, he's got wires, he's got cables, and he's got the controller with it. No problem. Bought it, went home, broken. I tried to plug it in, the power wouldn't even turn on. I tried many occasions, I tried, fiddling around a little bit, just make sure to get the power get on. I tried everything. Nothing worked, so I had to hand it all back in, and it came in a box as well, so, I mean, it's actually a box. Not a good condition, but it's a box nonetheless. Handed it in, bit of sad day, I was a bit disappointed, but luckily I got a full refund from them, so no worries there. But sometime later, went to one again in Worcester, where I work, and surprise, fully box, box in mint condition. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, pretty good condition. No games at all, but it's got the wires. It's got a RGB SCART adapter, which is a bonus. And basically the console looks a really good nick. £15. No joke. All that 15. They had two of them at the exact same price. £15 for each one of them. Now, a lot of people were thinking, why couldn't you buy the other one and resell it on eBay? And to be honest, I couldn't be asked, okay? I just wanted to get the console to play with, and so I bought the best one, the best condition, £15. Took it home, tested it with a couple of music CDs to see if it works. 100% functionality, apart from the battery saving. Sorry, the battery save unit, which you have to replace every now and again. But I couldn't be bothered to do that because I'm. Well, A, I'm lazy, and B, just, again, I couldn't be asked. No, so that's why I bought the memory card on top, so to save the games, I just used the card. No problems there. So, again, the pawn shop's a bit of risk at times, but most times they're alright. So long as you know if it looks a bit dodgy and looks a high value, it's not worth the risk. Just make sure, have a good look at it. If you feel it's okay and you got a gun instinct, it's okay, well, it's up to you. But again, if you have problems with it, take it back straight away and they'll give you money back. Guarantee. No problems. Now, the one place I usually go to every now and again, game-wise, I don't buy consoles from them. Well, I do sell consoles, but I never bought anything from console-wise from them. I do buy controllers from them as well. I have bought some games in there as well, but there's one thing about the games-wise does tend to annoy me quite a lot, and that's CEX, the entertainment shop. They sell DVDs in there as well, but they're alright. I mean, it's DVDs, they're cheap, they're simple, there's nothing wrong with it, but the games is a bit of a biggie. Price-wise, mix. Some are a bit too expensive, some are a bit too very too pricey, well, a little bit pricey, and some are a bit cheaper, then it's a mix. But, there's a big but. It happened to me at least 3 times from various shops. Bought the game, bought some game I bought. Then I went to the cashier, bought it, and then went home. Then the shit hits the fan. Found out the game doesn't work. Yeah, it's that kind of scenario, and it turns out you could either a disc is invalid, it doesn't work anymore, or basically the scratches are so deep they can't mend it. That tends to annoy me because I keep thinking, do they actually check the discs before they sell it, or they just been just say, well, it looks okay, just sell it, and for this price I don't care. I'm not saying all the staff out there, acting like that. It's just in my opinion, because I have seen it at least 3 times. There's been a lack of quality control there, and that tends to be a bit of an issue to the customers because, let's face it, they do sell quite a lot of stuff in there at times, even console-wise. And quality control, I think, is one of the most important things about selling items to make sure that it does work properly. Or otherwise, you're just selling them trash. Anyway, but luckily, like the pawn shops, you just go in there, hand in your receipt, and they'll give you money back or exchange with something else, etc., etc. You know what the process is like. It's like that. Now, I don't hate CEX, but I think they're alright. But I think there are a couple of things in that shop that do need to be improved. Mostly, obviously, quality control. Customer service, depending on who you're selling it to, they're alright mostly, but there's a couple of people I know of thinking, Jesus Christ, here we go again. So overall, CEX, I think are alright, but I think this just needs to polish up just a little bit. And I hear many people have this similar sort of story, so I think it's not just me who has this issue. Now, and there's another shop, there's another place you can go to buy retro games. This is a very rarity for me, or anybody else. It's certain shops that do sell certain games. They're very rare to find. They're a bit more when I was younger, but now these days they seem to lower down a little bit, possibly to where I'm from. Luckily, last year someone opened a shop down about 5-10 minutes from where I live. Actually do sell retro games. I do that quite a lot. I actually can't remember his name now, but it was there one minute, but I really can't remember its name. They do sell retro games. Deals mixed, but they do negotiate a little bit. Like if I trade something and they give money off it and so forth. Typical stuff. They're alright. I quite like these guys. They do save my behinds a couple of times, but again, depending on the deal and so forth, and how rare they go, what rare games they go and so forth. I don't think they use eBay as much, but I think they probably use it as a guideline to see how much they can go cheaper, how cheap it can go, depending on its value. So. That's also a problem because I used to know a couple places in Birmingham, about 3-4 of them, in fact, they do sell them. One of them, unfortunately, is gone. The other one is used to sell quite a bit. They just seem to stop doing it now, so I think they're out. So it leaves 2 places. One of them is a bit of a dodgy dealer. I'm not going to say who it is and where he works to save his identity. And the other one is a bit further away from the town centre itself, so you need to drive there. So if you know any place that sells retro games in your area, go there. If you want to do some trading to lower the value of what game you want to buy to get some credit, do so. It wouldn't hurt, wouldn't it, to trade, do some bit of trading. And one thing about these other places, you may bump into other people who likes retro gaming, and you can make friends with them. That's why I like to go there a lot, is to meet other people, socialize. You can't just socialize on the internet anymore. It's easy to find them these days on the internet, but to actually, get to know a bit more, or maybe you want to hang out with them, maybe go to their place to play some video games or whatever. Yeah, you're going to have to go outside. And that's the point of those retro shops. It does attract those kind of people, and you will meet them, you make friends with them, and then you just sort of, have a bit of chat, and you never know. Or even as a bonus, if you're for the opposite sex, you may, ask for exchange phone numbers, maybe go out with each other. It may happen, and that's what the gaming community is all about. To me, not just video games in general. It's just meeting other people, making good friends with each other, to, play games, talk about games, anything revolves in the subject, and just have a good time. Maybe hang out a little bit, have a couple of beers, that kind of thing. That is the main reason that the high streets are way, way better than the internet. Because basically, the internet, anybody can be either a genuine person or a dickwad. And most likely you're gonna end up bumping into those, the people on the outside of the internet world. That to me is a big, big bonus for anybody out there in the game community. Now since we're talking the subject of going to high streets, one guarantee I can promise you for the high streets is that yes, you might find more stuff in the internet that is out there. But despite the ratios of high prices on the internet versus basically go out there and, rare occasions you might find stuff you wanted on various places and prices and so forth. But to me, the outdoors is the best option, and even in everybody's standards. I mean, it's not just, shops you can go to. There's car boot sales, there's certain individuals you can contact with, and so forth. It's all good. It's all the same thing. Is that you go outside and basically live a life, in general. And that is a very important aspect of basically your entire life. So, that's my opinion. Internet's last resort, if you're kind of desperate and, want to buy the game at a certain individual price, if you can actually afford it, it's up to you. If you want to do it, fine. But if you just don't want to bother with the internet and go outside, I suggest you do so as well, because what harm can you do? I mean, it's only sunlight. It's not like you're a vampire or something. You're not going to burn to crisp as soon as the sun hits you in the face. It's just the outdoors. It's like the olden days, before the internet is actually, becoming a big, big important phenomenon in the entire globe. People go outside and socialize, talk to each other, and basically just go outside in general. And that's what I like about it. Is the old-fashioned way. Is somewhat more, seems to be more value than what is in the internet. By standard, and everybody would agree on that one. So in my opinion, for all those who are asking the question, what's the best way to get the best deals for your retro gaming? High streets, by far. Depending on where you're going, depending what sort of deal you're going to really end up with, and their services and their quality control, and basically if it's actually basically worth your time. That's all I'm going to say. So if you find this tip useful, put in the comments down below as well, along with, like I said before, if you know what was your best deal from a certain place, and tell me a bit of a story about that. Just put in the comments down below. Now, like I said in the beginning of the movie, why I haven't done anything much. 2 words: technical difficulties. For those who've been sort of following my Instagram and Twitter again, you may notice that I've been buying PC parts because I'm building a custom PC as we speak. But due to my finances and all that, it's going to take a bit while to get to do so. Now I'm using a laptop as we speak, but it's old, it's outdated. It looks like it's going to run down at 82nd, and hence why I'm buying a PC as we speak. So, if you're not seeing any videos for a reason, that's why. My laptop just seems to be playing up quite a lot, and it does take a while to make these videos, audio or visual wise. So yeah. And that's that's my audio recording for today. If you like, don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And hopefully in the future I'll make some more good videos. I have been doing some video recording. It's all on file, but at the moment to get my PC up and running, the videos may be either short or basically mostly audio recording due to my laptop's crappy graphics card CPU is on the verge of breaking up. So, and oh yeah, have a good one and take care.